Greetings. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor, brought to you by Heart and Soul Broadcasting Services. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. Today I'm in conversation with Robyn Terry, a trauma-informed somatic nervous system coach. That's a mouthful, hey? If you enjoy this conversation, remember to subscribe, to like, and to share. Let's get down to some work.
It ended in a very bad C-section, which was very poorly performed. They took a lot of my digestive system out. Trauma can happen 40 years ago, or it can have happened yesterday, and to your system, if you don't process and integrate it, it can still be happening. The best thing you can do for the world is work on yourself to create safety.
Robyn Terry, welcome to In Conversation with Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor.
Your brother-in-law was sitting here the other day.
He was.
Somebody then comes to me and says, you really need to talk to Robyn Terry. I say, why? He said, because of the state of the nation, where we are, the trauma, the anxiety, economic problems, political issues, and that kind of stuff. So I said, I'm going to do exactly that. The title is a big one, hey? Yeah. Trauma-informed somatic nervous system coach. We will get to unpack that. But what I want to know now is, who is Robyn Terry? And how does this Zimbabwe girl end up doing this kind of work? Who were you? And why do you end up doing this kind of work?
So I guess I grew up here. I am a product of colonialism. And at the time I finished school, there wasn't really the state of our country was not in a great place. So I actually went to the UK, didn't go to university. I worked my way up in London. I met people from all over the world. It was an amazing time. I met my husband. We moved to Swansea. We had a daughter there. And we had a very bad birth. It was very, very traumatic. We were failed in a lot of ways, and we failed ourselves in a lot of ways. And after that, it was, for me, one of the biggest catalysts in my life to start looking at more, beyond what is mental health and more about how trauma actually impacts us as humans. So I had to really start unpacking who I was and how I was and the way I presented myself in the world, the way I parented my daughter, showed up in my marriage and my work and my life. And it was really something so often we have these times where it's like a catalyst for huge expansion, like the greater the pain, the greater the expansion you can have, the greater growth. And so through that, I started my journey of really getting down to understanding how trauma, how our nervous system, our body holds on to trauma, not our mind. It's all in our body mainly. And it led me down a beautiful road of learning and healing and transforming and growing.
Shall we go to that trauma?
Yeah.
Shall we go to that trauma?
Yeah.
I get a sense there's a place that we must visit there.
Yeah.
You met your husband. You had a painful birth. Shall we talk about that? Because it appears that could be the genesis of how
yes.
become.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was 42 weeks pregnant and I got induced, and I was very naive, and I just because I had studied yoga and I was a yoga teacher. So I just blindly trusted the system, as one does nowadays. And it kind of turned into quite a physical, it ended in a very bad C-section, which was very poorly performed. They took a lot of my digestive system out, which we didn't know, and it's not protocol. And then I got very severely sick afterwards. I had something called paralytic ileus, which is where your digestive system shuts down. So not only had I tried natural labor for a long time, had loads of drugs in the induction, then the trauma of the surgery itself, which was terrible. My husband was also very traumatized by seeing it. And our girl came out fine. Her name's Riley. She was absolutely fine.
How old is Riley now?
Bruising. She's 7. She's 7 years old.
She's doing fine.
Yeah, she's great. She's the most magical little human.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've stayed with the trauma. Talk to me about how that trauma that you experience, how it evidences as you go through your life.
Okay, so that trauma, because it was very body-based, and obviously a lot of birth will always bring up trauma, especially for women, and it will always bring up sexual trauma. So that trauma made help me understand, because it was the after effects and the way that certainly the male doctors, but not just the male doctors, the female nurses also treated me, that kind of re-triggered a previous trauma I'd gone through, which was when I was 13, I was raped and very badly, very successfully gaslit by the man who did it. And so that whole time in my life, I also changed school at the time. There were vicious rumors going around. I lost kind of interest in academia because I was so...
And this you in Zimbabwe?
Yes, in Zimbabwe, yeah. And I didn't really feel I could tell anyone. And yeah, so that time was re-triggered in after the birth. So the two link, they always link. Trauma can happen 40 years ago, or it can have happened yesterday, and to your system, if you don't process and integrate it, it can still be happening. Does anything?
It makes sense. It makes sense. But talk to me about, this is a very sensitive place. So allow me the mission to go there. The rape trauma.
Yes.
And the all that's associated with the rape, you not being able to talk. Well, I go to that painful place because it applies to somebody watching us right now.
Yeah.
And I want us to be helpful to those people in terms of what you experience, around that.
Yeah.
The gaslighting and all that kind of thing. Should we go there?
Yeah, sure. So I think the thing is, this is so prevalent in our world, like women being raped or sexually assaulted or abused, and it's just hushed, very much like, let's not deal with it. And I think for me, when I talk about it, I don't like talking about being a victim or a survivor and all of that, because it's so normal and common. And I actually am not one for getting justice. I don't even want to mention his name because it's actually not his story. This is my real story. And also because of how successfully he gaslit me, I really think something happened to him, So it's not that there's a victim and a perpetrator. It's like two victims, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
That like if someone's hurt people hurt people. And so it's almost like before we go into it, it's more a conversation for me that everyone needs healing, not just perceived victims. There's something wrong with our culture, our society, the way we treat men, the way men aren't allowed to feel. The patriarchal system hurts men as much as it hurts women, but in different ways.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's more about how can we create a loving environment, a safe environment for all humans to flourish, not just one category. So but
because correct me, you have gone through a journey that perhaps has allowed you to heal, but we don't know if he's healed.
Exactly.
And we don't know what else he's done because he's not healed. We don't know who he is. We shall not mention it. But anyway, please proceed. Yeah.
So I think we kind of for me, looking back, I can see how that experience shaped and changed my trajectory in life and who I was and what I believed in, etc., etc. And so after the many years of unpacking, it's almost like the worst part of those kind of traumatic experiences is the mistrust and the mind-body separation you get within yourself. So for me, for a long time, I questioned whether it actually happened or not. I knew, but I didn't know, because often when you have what we call a big T trauma, your mind or nervous system protects you by kind of disassociating you. So this is where trauma therapy is so focused on remembering And actually, it's almost impossible to have a chronological timeline of remembrance because it's so bad. Your system is trying to protect you.
By forgetting.
Exactly. By taking you away, by shutting your body down, by doing all of that. So, it's so interesting to see in the nervous system, in the body, these patterns. I call them patterns of protection. So as humans, we either run patterns of connection and safety or patterns of protection and threat. So one is a closed heart and one is an open heart, obviously. And there's nothing particularly wrong with either of those, but it's helpful to understand that your system's doing what it thinks it needs to do because it still thinks it's receiving the same stimulus, that you need those patterns of protection and survival. But whereas I'm safe now, there is no lion chasing me, but sometimes my system can feel as though there is.
It makes sense, but looking at us as a nation, where do you think we sit? Protection or the other one?
I think it's so varied. I don't think, like with most of these things, for me, what I've really learned is that there's so much gray area. There's no black or white lines. But in general, I think there's so many different things that need a lot of safety in our country. And by safety, I mean, when a human feels safe, they are connected. They're working towards the greater good.
They're productive.
They're productive.
Impactful.
Yeah. And they care about our community, not just the people who are like them, but everyone, because we're all part of the same symbiosis. We're all part of the earth. We're all connected. Like we are... when we are safe and connected and we feel safe in ourselves, we make decisions based on
and we
that.
give of ourselves,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
I asked that question and then I'm going to press you because we are, correct me if I'm wrong, we're a traumatized nation.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to say a traumatized nation that we've been since 1964.
Yeah.
Where we don't belong to each other, where there's no empathy, where we don't present ourselves as a whole. We don't work towards a common good. That sounds very messy.
And I think mainly people are so afraid of conflict. And conflict is actually, and I'm talking at like a human to human level, like a you and me level, not a great war zone conflict, but confliction is really important for us as humans because it's confliction, and confliction teaches you, it allows you to open up to other ways of thinking, because actually for a community to function, we need many different brains, many different people with many different beliefs. And that is how we progress, we evolve, and that the system works together. So I just wish that the people in Zimbabwe could understand that we should celebrate our differences, not ignore them, and not separate ourselves because of them. It's actually that we're missing one of our greatest tools is the togetherness of being different,
The togetherness of being different, the beauty that comes from ideas, many ideas competing and us benefiting from the best of ideas. I mean, for me, that's what we're missing here. But anyway, let's move on if we may. Sure. So you 18 years rather, you're pursuing multiple careers. Yes. Talk to me about, apart from the trauma, what else you got involved in as you were traveling. We'll get to India, but before we get there, what did you get to do?
So, I mean, for me, part of my reaction from my trauma was that I became very hyper independent. So I became very unafraid. So I am lucky that I am not a people pleaser. I've got not one bit of people pleasing in me. I mean, the other way. So that kind of gave me the push and the courage and the drive to kind of go out into the world and experience as much as I could. So I met people from all over the world, learned different things, learned about different cultures and their beliefs. And
what did you do? Can you?
So I worked as an events waitress in London, and I worked my way up to an event manager. I was actually the youngest event manager London had seen, and I worked in events up until the 2012 Olympics, where I was enough of that world. It gave me what I needed, but then I needed to do something more kind of soulful for myself. So that event industry was amazing, and it really worked with my kind of my sympathetic system, which like to go, like the classic Zimbabwean making a plan, you know, like
Jumping around
in times of chaos, figuring it out. So that I still beautiful ancient places. I think like one of my favorites was going up into the old records room of the Natural History Museum. And just the history, you know, the archaeological history there was amazing. And then after I did events, that's when I met my husband. And I actually was planning on going traveling and moving home. But he didn't even want to, he's Zimbabwean. He didn't want to even leave London at that time. So I kind of fell in love and got stuck there. But then I worked in the kind of lower income bracket schools with underprivileged children, foster children, and I saw a whole different world of life. And just because they live in a first world country, these kids are almost to me felt more deprived of love than anywhere else in the world.
I must ask you this.
Yeah.
So you say you are not a people pleaser. And you say this is a product of your experience. Explain to me why you think you didn't go the other way, which is timid, victimhood. That what?
I did go victimhood though. I did feel very much a victim, but I didn't feel like a passive victim. I think it's also in part of how I was brought up. I was brought up with two younger brothers. So I'm the firstborn girl.
I think I'm going to stop you there. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's take a break now. Yeah. So when we come back, I want us to go to understanding that beautiful place of your upbringing, which appears to have contributed to the person that you've become now. Yeah. So at home, please don't go away. Join us on the other side.
Your mind can't tell your body that you're sick. Your body has to tell your mind that you're sick.
Hi there. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe, to like and share. There's so much more from where this content came from.
Welcome back to our conversation, fascinating conversation with Robyn Terry. Robyn is a trauma-informed somatic nervous system coach. So Robyn, before we took the break, we were going back to your beginnings. Where were you born? How were you raised? Which schools did you go to?
So I was born here in Harare and I went to Highlands School. And then I moved to Heritage School. And then I left Heritage School and moved to Chisipiti Senior School in Form 2.
So you're a cheesy girl. And then after that,
to the UK.
To the UK.
Yeah.
So you were talking about your upbringing, the family.
Yes.
Talk to us about that. Take us to that beautiful place.
So my family, I'm the firstborn girl, as I was saying, with two younger brothers. And my younger brothers, have got ADHD and dyslexia.
I'm dyslexic.
Oh, yeah. I know most of the greatest people know that. So my mum had to put a lot of effort and energy into their schooling, their education. The education system didn't quite receive them and still, in my opinion, doesn't receive different brains very well and adapt to them. So my mum had to put a lot of effort into my brothers. And reading and writing became quite easy to me. So in a lot of ways, I was kind of left to my own devices and left to get on with my own stuff, which was always a blessing and a curse because we need our parents, you know. But again, and when I work with people, it's really important that we understand that we cannot keep blaming the generations above us because they're just a product of their own. You know, it just happens.
That's what they knew.
They did the best they could with the information, the nervous systems, the unprocessed trauma that they had. So that's part of the whole victimhood mentality.
What did this family give you? What's the best things that you got from mom and dad, from your ancestors?
So my dad is literally that person who will make a plan. We went camping. We had major disasters with cars, and he would, like one time he managed to get the car up on a rock to be able to change a tire. He is literally like a MacGyver. He's an engineer by trade. He does the hydro projects here. And my mom is the most creative person. Like, she creates so much, and her love of trees is, I would say, is my best thing I got from my mom. And then my dad and his just, it's like unflappable ability to deal with chaos and situations that arise, I would say. Yeah.
Then let's go to the moment, which I think for me is a turning point for you.
Yeah.
And that is you going to India. And the things that you decide to do. What did India crack open in you?
So I think, so we moved to, when we left London, we moved to Swansea in Wales. And my husband, because he was retraining as a cardiac physiologist. And I started working in the pupil referral unit there, which is where the kids who get kicked out of school, and they would come with knives and shutters would go down. And the bureaucracy of what I was meant to be, and I worked with kind of special needs children, and what I was meant to be teaching them was what I was actually teaching those kids was how to go to the loo independently, but bureaucracy-wise, through governmental structure, I had to teach them about tectonic plates. It's like this, and I think that is one of our greatest things about being Zimbabwean is we don't, if we can, and we don't want to be in a system that just keeps going.
Yeah.
We can see outside the box, if anything, our country has taught us that it doesn't have to be one way, and to not blindly trust structures, So I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I need to go to India. India was also because I got engaged and I needed to go on my own personal Hindu, if you like. And I needed to go. I'd always wanted to go to India, so I took myself there for 2 months. And I did my yoga teacher training in Rishikesh, India. And I always focused it
on your own.
On my own. It was amazing. It was so free. Most of the people, I was nervous to go traveling by myself. I can't remember how old I was then, but yeah. But most of the people I met so many single female travelers and no single male travelers. So it was just for me, I was like, okay, yeah, this is good.
This is all right.
Yeah. And so that I learned about the therapeutic side of yoga, and I started working with pregnant women, the elderly, special needs kids, using yoga and body work as a way of kind of self-empowerment and working with people. So that's what, and India, I felt more in common with India than I did with the UK. In the UK, I always felt like really didn't belong to, I know they were my ancestors, but it just, India felt closer to home, to Zim, than the UK did for me. So India really, yeah. And I think spiritually speaking, it gave me that sense of like true ritualistic and connection and ceremony, honoring the earth and people and communities. It was a really beautiful way. India is full of culture and full of those rituals, and it just really made me feel that sense of connection, maybe to my soul in a way, more than my mind.
To yourself, knowing. So what did it crack? Is there anything that you felt like?
I felt like
the window open?
Well, I think it just felt like freedom for me. Freedom to go and to know something deep in my soul that I wanted to do, and I wanted to go on a journey and travel, and I did that. And so it's like when we work in resonance with what is right for us and our souls, we come into alignment, we come into integrity, we get less scared, we mistrust ourselves less. And then it also comes across as like, because really, like, being authentically ourselves is the greatest thing any of us can do in our life.
But it's the most difficult thing to do. It requires courage, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because for you to be authentic, you must have the courage to refuse everything else that's not you.
And I think that's also what trauma and stress does. Is we following your fear and following your gut, like gut instinct, is very strong, but so is fear. So trapped fear, trapped grief, trapped trauma in your body can feel as strong as gut. Does that make sense?
Absolutely does.
So we, again, it's that body.
Is that equilibrium? Is that a tension? What is it?
So I guess it would be like a really heightened anxiety, like your anxiety is almost, it's not necessarily appealing. Anxiety is a fear of something. It's a symptom. It's your body communicating to you. So that anxiety can often drive us into places and spaces and making decisions that are not actually aligned with us, but more aligned with fear.
We are
patterns of protection, you know? So, yeah.
You say, and I love this, you say, at the heart of the work that you do, believe that when we understand our nervous system, we reclaim choice.
Yes.
It's powerful.
Yes.
Unpick it for us.
So when we understand that it's not good, in our world, there's a lot of talk about mental health and the power of positive thought and forced gratefulness and that. And yes, it's great to be grateful, but you can't kind of sit in your morning and write a gratefulness list. What you really gratefulness should be a practice of moving through your life and feeling, look at the sun shining through that tree. I'm so grateful for this life and the beauty in it. You know, like it should be a feeling, not a pre-thought cortex-driven thing. So
you remind me, I mean, this morning, it's as if this morning I was in one of the rooms I tend, and I saw the light on the lawn and the trees. I mean, I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. I'm so grateful to God.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful to God to be my surroundings, to this home that I have, to this wife that I'm married to. That for me is genuine, authentic gratitude. Yeah.
And we call that exact thing a glimmer. So a glimmer is the opposite of a trigger. So a trigger is a body-based or nervous system memory of something really difficult. A glimmer is a genuine expression of, it's almost like your body relaxes, you have a smile, and it's something small and tiny like that, which leads to a bigger feeling of gratefulness. So it's almost the opposite.
But are we always conscious of what our nervous system is doing in the background? And if we are not, should we be reminded? And how does this happen? Sorry, two main questions.
No, it's great. So the power of understanding your nervous system, it puts the power back into you, like, oh, I'm not crazy. Oh, there's nothing wrong with me. My system is showing me what's going on.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Please go.
So it's often what we tell ourselves, our self-criticism, our self-judgment, our self-gaslighting and crazy making, that is often the worst part because our body and minds have disconnected. And when you connect your body and mind, like I still have panic attacks, I still get depressed, I still have anxiety, but I no longer view it as there's something wrong with me. I view it as, okay, I've been pushing my system too much, stuff's going on, I need to check in or do something.
Wait. Something of that sort.
Yes.
Be alert. Yes. Be aware of it.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, there's nothing wrong with me. I just need to listen to it.
Exactly.
We'll get to asking ourselves the question down the line. Are our lives that way ordered? How many times do you stop during the day and say, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel the way I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Then you sit in it and face it. But before we go there, I want us to go to your work is extensively around the vagus nerve. The beauty about what I do is that many people do crazy things. And I then get to read about what is a vagus nerve. So I'd never heard of a vagus nerve. And then I realized that it's actually something that's involved within the wellness conversations. Talk to us about what is the vagus nerve, understanding that we are pedestrian when it comes to this issue. Break it down as much as possible.
Okay, so I'm going to get you to do something. So I want you to take your hand back to where your head and your neck and your skull meet, into your cranium. Yeah. Okay, and then you're going to put your other hand on your heart. So your vagus nerve, your ventral vagus nerve, what we also call your social engagement nerve, is your 10th cranial nerve. So it comes out here. It runs down your SCM muscle, which is this one here, wraps around your heart and comes back up and innervates your larynx. So when you smile, and you have your crow's feet, which I always say to make life twist, don't get Botox on your eyes because This is the most beautiful safety signal that one human can give another. Yeah. This is our social engagement. So when you smile, genuinely smile, you're smiling with your heart. And so we co-regulate, we communicate through our ventral vagus nerve. It's also our vagal brake is what calms our heart down. So it's that it comes back into kind of safety. Yeah. So it's a very physiological thing. This is science. It's not just kind of whatever. And then
Science. I actually went and asked the AI what it was, and I got an image of what it is and so forth. And I've been practicing, by the way. So I lie down and I roll my neck. Then I wriggle my feet and I breathe. I relax. I breathe 10 times, and I feel different after.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's, it's your vagus, that's your ventral, and then your dorsal vagus nerve, which is your oldest, kind of most primitive nerve, is the one that goes down and it innervates nearly every single organ in your abdominal area. So there's 2 vagus nerves, 2 tracks of it. And it's very, very much a product of, it's a communication highway. So your dorsal vagus tells your brain, your mind can't tell your body that you're safe. Your body has to tell your mind that you're safe. Come on, today. So your mind can't tell your body. So your cortex, your thinking brain cannot tell your body we are safe. Yeah. Your body has to tell your brain that you are safe. Yeah. So when I first work with people, there's often a kind of distortion in how we regulate our system. And it's kind of, we try to be very top down. So we think about it. We think. Whereas actually we need to feel. Notice what your body is doing. And that's why breath work really works, because it's that loosening of your diaphragm. So it's a physiological signal from your body to your brain. Like, actually, okay. There's no dying. We don't need to be all what's going on. Yeah.
When I'm exercising, how many times should I try and breathe in slowly, then out slowly, 10 times.
When you're exercising?
No, when I'm lying down.
Oh, but you mean when you're doing breathing exercises?
Yeah, breathing exercise. How important is that, and how often should I do it?
So I would first say that calming down is not always the best thing. You need to match your survival energy. So if you have got stress that needs to be worked through your system, because we want to imagine stress or trauma as the lion coming, because it's real or imagined for us. If there's a lion coming or prowling around, why would your body and brain let you lie down and relax? It would be like, get up, find the eyes, get ready.
Right.
So we actually have to work with our systems. So often we actually need to calm up before we can calm down. So we need to find healthy ways of releasing stress,
So I exercise, I do my...
you go for your run, you do your star jump.
Then I come down and then I relax.
Then afterwards, because it's gone, right? You told your brain, you told your primal brain, your nervous system, I've taken action. I've moved. I'm not stuck. I'm not threatened. And now you can actually access the kind of calming down part.
That's beautiful. We'll take a break. When we come back, I want us to go to somatic work and what that is. I mean, you're introducing us to big words and trauma. Perhaps trauma is one of the most misused term. But I hope hopefully after this, people out there will get to use the term correctly. Yeah. So at home, don't go away. When we come back, Robyn is going to take us through what somatic work is and what trauma is, proper trauma. Join us after the break.
Our bodies do not allow us to process and release trauma until they feel safe.
Welcome back to our fascinating
education trip with Robyn Terry about our bodies, about who we are, about our humanity. Robyn Terry is a trauma-informed somatic nervous system coach. So before we took the broadcast, I said we're going to go to ask you to tell us what somatic work is, and why it's important.
Okay, so I am not, so there's a difference between somatic therapist and somatic worker. I'm not one of those. I just use the word somatic because soma is within the body, it's body. So somatic work is we're seeing one of the most impactful ways to actually recovering from trauma and recovering your kind of survival patterns. So it's a very much a body led. We stay out of conversation, of mental conversation, because we're humans, we build stories around everything. We try to stay out of story and mind work, more into following the body's lead and then getting the body to communicate, to be able to listen to our body's natural need. So that's what, somatic therapy is more.
Yeah. And that is, am I right, that the theory then goes that the body can heal itself.
Absolutely.
If you listen to what the body is telling you, rather than me talking about what my problems are and hoping that I get healing from that. Is that the same? Is there issues?
No. It's part of the same thing. So it's really important because we are multifaceted. We need multi-facets of healing and understanding ourselves. So that's why I use the biopsychosocial spiritual. So biologically, your sleep, your eating, your nutrition, like all of that kind of stuff is really important. And we also need to psychologically understand ourselves, our stories. When I'm feeling threatened, I believe that I am this, the world is this, people are this. That's a story. That's a neural pathway. So we do need to do that work of talking and understanding. And then the body stuff is really about our bodies do not allow us to process and release trauma until they feel safe. So we need safety first before we can then go dive in and work through whatever needs working through, because your body's in survival. It's in texture. It's not going to be like, okay, I'll relax and have a good cry, because it's like the lion's still around us. So we need many different things. And I think that
is it correct to speak of one is more important than the other?
I mean, to me, the body is always more important because it's like, and also when someone sits in front of me, I'm like, I'm not going to diagnose you. We are equals. There's no power dynamic here. We are the Sherlock Holmeses of your nervous system, but you have got everything you need inside of you to heal and know yourself. I'm not going to be healing you. I'm just going to hold space for you to access what you already know, but perhaps have forgotten. Does that make sense?
It makes lots of sense. I mean, you've already taken me to the point where it's a very important point for me, which is we have everything that we need inside of us. Can you unpack that?
So I think more than anything, I'm seeing in our greater world, in our country, it's almost overwhelming how many problems and issues there are. And for me, it's almost like people have moved so far away from their souls. We've moved away from ourselves because really, it's my belief that the people who are not able to move in a world with integrity, how painful must that be? To feel that you are comfortable knowingly causing pain to another human, the earth, animals, whatever it is. It must be so uncomfortable for your soul to be like that, So I've forgotten your question.
It feels ugly. So my question was, we contain everything that we need. We have everything that we need.
Yes. So we so couldn't. Here we are.
Yeah.
We need to return to ourselves and return to what lights our souls on fire, which is we are in alignment with, we're here for a reason. We are on this planet. We are on our earth for a reason.
We have a purpose.
Exactly. And so I feel we need to return to that and also return to much simpler life. You already mentioned the phone, the computer, the instant gratification, all of this. It's like all of that is getting us further away from ourselves and our bodies, almost in a way. It would be so lovely to return to ancient times where we would go about our day, we would sit together around a fire and share stories and connect as human to human and surrounded by nature. We're so removed from our natural instincts and our natural selves each day.
We are, but you can see that we are because of what we become to each other.
Yes.
The ugliness, the toxicity, the wars, the killing. The violence, the greed. That's not who we were meant to be.
No. And I would say, so, many of us feel like we can't do anything, about these greater things. And what I try to say is that the best thing you can do for the world is work on yourself to create safety. And it's good. I mentioned neuroception, I think, out of filming, but when we know how to feel safe, we can go out our world to be a beacon of safety. So then from me to you, you can feel what safety is like in your community, in your family, first of all, in yourself more than anything, then your family, then your community. So if you can live in a way that is giving safety, not just to people who you think deserve it, but genuinely every person, no matter what you believe your beliefs around them are, if you can show up and get safety, then that will grow out and out. That story of we're all connected by 6 degrees. So you have got personal power as an individual, to give love and to give safety. And this does not mean passivity.
No, it doesn't.
It's to safety.
The change starts in you.
Yes. Yeah.
With you.
Yeah.
And it reverberates.
Yeah.
What you give out to the world.
Yeah.
The world is most likely to give that to you. Not always, but
Yeah.
So I keep on saying, Robyn, I say this so many times because I believe in it, that we are in a mess as a country. And the majority of us are wanting change. Yes. Without us changing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I say, for this country to change, you've got to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the Zimbabwe that you want.
Yes.
If you don't change to the Zimbabwe that you want, in terms of your values, your principles, the way you treat others, you do not liquor, you do not drive LB WhatsApping, Zimbabwe is not going to change to give you that. So, absolutely love what you say. We've got the power within us to change from the person inside out and affect our neighborhood, starting with the family. But we're neglecting that. Am I right?
Yeah. And I think that speaks to like that kind of that codependency, that outsourcing of safety and victimhood or lack mentality. You're always blaming your circumstance on other people, other things.
Yielding power.
Yes. And whereas when you are self-sustained, and when you really know yourself, you don't need external approval or validation. We're built for connection, so we need co-regulation and attunement, but that's very different to externalized validation. And I can't do anything because of you. It's a very different.
And I was going to talk about technology later on, but you've just brought the year. We live in a world where technology companies have given us this instant gratification of tick, of like, or share. And I say something and I wait to see how many people approve. Yeah. And therefore, I am then wired up to say the most crazy things, because the more crazy things you say, the algorithms like that.
Yeah,
and
the clickbait, the fear.
But that's who we've been made to be. Yeah. And yet for us, to go back to your point, getting back in the evening and sit around the fire and tell stories and so forth, the phones that we use even when we're driving, the thing that I hate the most is to go to a restaurant with family for a meal, and you find mother and kids are all sitting there and they're all on their phones. Why did you bother getting out? You could have stayed home and What is your thoughts?
So I think the thing we need to understand about our phones in particular is that our neurology has not evolved. Yeah, they've only been, especially the smartphones that we now.
That was 87.
Yeah, like we have not evolved enough to actually, our brains cannot cope with them. So Meta in particular are, saying the words, but they're very, very clever, and they know that our brains create dopamine by our eyes going up and down. But then you activate the back brain. So when your eyes are tight and hypertonal focus, your back brain is activated, which is causing a stress circuit.
Exactly.
So we are literally addicted to scrolling and our phones, which is our brute force. No, definitely not. But you see, it's a distraction as well. People have so much pain. They can't.
What does that do to our nervous system?
So it stresses your nervous system out. The blue light, the tightening your eyes. I do this kind of exercise with clients to show what happens to your breathing and your diaphragm muscle when you tighten your eyes. And it is astounding how much tightening your eyes and looking at a screen constricts your body. And then remember, our bodies tell our brains what's going on. So you may feel like burnt out, hyper stressed so much, but it could literally just be from the amount of eye screen focus you're having. There's lots of us, and we all have our own specific, unique trauma to deal with in life.
Fascinating how I've been reading about the science of what Meta, Twitter, and big algorithms have done, that even just having your phone in your pocket, you will reach out for it, even if it's not produced any sound. Because your body has now been wired to that. It's like that. Exactly. It's not a part of you. I get fascinated where you say to people, do not look at your phone. Put it by the side. And you're sitting in a meeting. How many times you will reach out for the phone? It isn't wrong or anything. But you're now wired to it. It's an additional.
So I think we need to look at the energy of it in a way. Because it's like we want connection. And our phones do give us connection. It's not all doom and gloom with our phones. It's connection, communication, information, like even this podcast. It can be used for good. But we need to be very aware and conscious of what we're doing. And we are seeking connection, yeah? And that's a way we've been programmed ourselves to seek connection through our phone. What would it be like for you to, at the end of the day, when you don't need your phone, put it away and go seek connection with your children or your partner or your friends or your community or literally your animals, nature? We have to think about how we can create healthy habits and healthy connection so that we don't necessarily need that instant kind of, you're together but not really together through the phone. Yeah.
Let's go to the word trauma.
Yeah.
Misunderstood. What is trauma?
So trauma is anything that is too much, too quick, too soon, or not enough for your nervous system to deal with in the moment. That is literally the definition of trauma. We obviously have different kinds of trauma. We've got big T trauma, which would be like a high-speed car accident, my rape. We've got complex trauma, which would be kind of an upbringing where you were not really seen or heard, or it doesn't always have to be physical abuse for a child to grow up traumatized. Because remember, anything that's not enough, so not enough connection from your parents, not enough safety, etc., can also be trauma. So there's many different kinds of trauma, if you like, but at the end of the day, we can't categorize trauma in a way.
Do you think how many of us realize we are carrying around trauma, and what does it take for you to realize that this is traumatic?
So often it takes a breakdown. Often it takes like severe depression. Often it takes, people often push so far before they accept that they're not okay. And even that acceptance of not okay.
Do they push deliberately? Or it's just
it's a survival mechanism, It's like you have to keep going, especially mums, to me, I believe that the way we heal our world is we heal the circumstance in which women become mothers. Because if a woman is looked after and empowered and feels safe in her pregnancy, in her birth, and afterwards, she's far more likely to connect with her child,
Right.
female or male, and then give that human connection that feeds a soul to be wired for safety and connection. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. You've already spoken about unconscious survival strategies. Talk to me about those.
So again, it's like we run patterns of protection in survival, right? Because your bottom brain is way more interested in you surviving your life, not thriving in your life. And we have a neurological bias to pay more attention to threat than we do to safety. And this is also coming out in epigenetics. You know, we inherit trauma through our genetic codage, real mitochondria.
Slavery, colonialism, and all that.
All of it.
Those bad experiences carried over.
Yep. And they've done these studies, which are not really nice, but they exposed mice to the smell of, I think it's like honeysuckle, and they zapped them and inflicted quite high pain. And then 5 generations later, just the smell triggered an even bigger physiological response in those mice. So that is how powerful generational trauma is, you know. But an epigenetics, why I really love it is that it's teaching us through the science that we can change our DNA. Just because my ancestors did that, it doesn't mean that, no, I'm passing it on to my kids. It's not, this is what I mean. We are not like, oh, well, my lot's alright.
This is what
We can do so much if we trust ourselves and connect back to ourselves.
The trauma passed through generation. Collective national trauma and individual nervous system. Talk to me about that. I mean, where we are as a nation, the collective national trauma that we have, and how it affects our individual systems.
Well, I think like this could maybe be a good example. You are a black man, I am a white woman, and we can sit here and we should talk about it. Yeah, the way we heal as a nation is we talk to each other about what our country has been through, what our personal responsibility is, you know, like the white culture, the black culture, whatever it is. Let's again honor our differences and come together to build something that feels so much safer and better for everyone. Like we need to talk about it, Trevor.
Are we?
I don't think so. Certainly not that. I mean, if I had it my way, it would be like taught in schools. We would be like conflict resolution. Like we need to not be so afraid anymore. You know, we've tried all the other stuff. It's not working.
It's not working. And ignorance generates fear. They're not knowing what
fear.
they are.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely. And we need to bridge that gap. I am afraid that we are living in these ghettos. Whether you are a rich white person, you are in a ghetto. Whether you are a black white person, you are in these ghettos where you reinforce wrong beliefs about each other, and that kind of stuff. And we need the leadership that makes us realize that for as long as we're in this space, we belong, and we need to understand each other.
And it's almost like we've tried the hate on hate. We've tried a lot of violence and aggression. It's not working. You don't heal hate by bringing more hate. You heal hate by bringing love.
And what I liked about what you said earlier on is that even though the aggressor gets traumatized, so the aggressor might appear to have the upper hand, but he goes to sleep with that aggression. And what does that do to them?
Yeah. And this is, you know, it's like that soul is going to have to come back and do some really hard stuff. Yeah.
The other thing that you do work, talk to me about you do work with companies.
Yeah.
You do work with schools.
Yes.
Talk to me about that work and what you're finding through that work regarding our society.
So if we, because I've done so much interventive work trauma-wise, if we can put systems in place, preventative systems, I'm way more about preventative medicine, preventative health, all of that. And so if we can understand the story of being a human, which is our nervous system, as far as I'm concerned, and how we give safety and threat. And if we can get into schooling and kind of institutionalized places like medicine, medical field, and schools, we can actually start to, if a teacher learns how to give safety to a class, those children's brains can then access the information that they need for memory retention and writing to occur. So, I mean, it's just, to me, it's very logical. Like, if a classroom feels safe, a teacher feels safe, those kids can
relax
and learn.
Engage.
And engage, yeah. And it's the same thing in hospitals. It's like, if we can empower patients, to feel safe and therefore trust themselves again and their own innate ability for healing, and also the trauma-informed, the lack of trauma-informed care in this country, Trevor, is on my personal agenda. 10 years from now, I would love to see it part of the course, trauma-informed training across the board.
Should we include it in our syllabus? At what level? Primary, high school?
Yes. Trauma-informed care should be everywhere. I think people are so scared to even say the word trauma. And I'm like, we're all traumatized. Why are we so afraid of just dealing with it? I think
we want to appear perfect, don't we?
Yeah, because it's a survival thing. It's like, you can't touch me. But actually, it's through that. It's like we create this armor around us where, yes, they may not touch you, but you also can't feel the safety. You also can't get the connection, the hope, the joy, the beautiful things in that.
Imagine if our leaders,
where
I'm going,
the system will make up our lead.
Because those who appear strong, speak threateningly, are the weakest amongst us. They need help.
And I think the way we treat other people is the way we treat ourselves. And so again, it's like we all just need love and safety at the end of the day, Like, we need to remember what it's like. Because we're all searching for that, okay, I'll finally be okay. If I earn that much, if I have that much, if I do it like there, if I'm over there, then finally I might feel okay.
But no.
It's not true. That's a falsehood.
And of course, the other thing is you're comparing. Never compare yourself with anything or anybody. Where does failure and regret sit in all this?
Okay, so can we work more with shame and guilt?
Okay.
Rather.
Okay.
So shame is a very dark, low, and again, it's my belief that all these men and boys who do these kind of things, I mean, the stories that we still have of teenage girls being drugged and raped, and there's no consequence for the boys because he's in a good sports team, whatever, To me, this is shame. There's so much shame, and the shame around it all keeps it in the dark. So shame is a very difficult emotion, if not the most difficult for a human to understand for themselves. Whereas guilt, on the other hand, I think guilt is quite good. Healthy. Guilt shows us when we are out of alignment with ourselves, so we can act on it. But most people get stuck in the shame, and they can't move from the shame out. Shame is very disempowering. It's very...
You must do what makes you high.
Yeah. Whereas guilt is like, I'm taking responsibility.
I'm owning this.
Yes.
I'm owning this. So I'm going to put you on a spot now. There's a young girl watching you. There's a young boy watching you there and saying, wow, but a woman, after all that she's gone through, she goes exploring and finding herself in India and so forth. She is authentic and I'm afraid of adventure. What would you tell that girl who's watching you right now, unsure of the next step, wanting to fall into the patterns that society has set for girls? A girl child who's been abused, like you were, right? Like you were. How do they present to this world that's so oppressive?
So I would say to them, but also to the young boys watching, not just the girls, that your life is yours to live. And, you know, it's very hard to step out of victimhood. I did it. I lived in victimhood. It's so much easier, you know, to not take personal responsibility, but go and figure out who you are. Don't let the world or people around you tell you who you are. Connect back to your inner knowing, I would say, for both of you. And allow yourself to feel and let your body communicate with you. Because ultimately, when your mind and body are connected and you know who you are kind of infallible in a way. You can be authentic even when things don't go well.
Beautiful. You also deal with couples.
Yes. Oh, I love that work.
You love that work. What do you love about that work? What are you discovering there? What should we be looking out for?
So, again, it comes to, we want people to be the same, you know, in this world of like women trying to be like men and men trying to suppress women and all of that. It's like, no, we're different. Our nervous systems are different. We need different things. Women's nervous systems regulate with more oxytocin, which is the connection, the pleasure hormone. Men's regulate through dopamine, which is the action I can achieve, I can do hormone. So in the couple work, it's to really try to understand that you're a team, and you are not the same. And so when we see, for me, when I work with couples and I see them, because we also heal through relationship, yeah? A lot of our previous upbringing, trauma, whatever it is with our partners.
What?
Moving from codependence to co-regulation is the biggest power move a couple can ever make, because it's that personal responsibility and you are choosing to regulate. You know, I go through my husband, co-regulation rather than codependency. I used to probably go to my husband and expect him to make me feel better, you know. Now I go to him and I'm like, I'm not feeling so great. Can you please do this arm squeeze for me and give me a big hug? Because my body's feeling a bit, you know, but it's mine. But I'm going to ask you to help me. Does that make sense?
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful, that. Yeah. And we don't get married. We're not miserable. I'm miserable. I'm going to get married and find somebody who makes me happy. Wrong, isn't it?
Totally. You're going to find someone who's going to push every button you have so that you can heal those buttons and then live a life free. And rupture is going to happen, Trevor. In every relationship with friends, with colleagues, with partners, with parents, it's going to happen. It is a natural course of life. And most of us hit that first hurdle in our marriages and we're it's not right. You're not right for me.
And the person who makes you happy is you, not your partner.
And that's also why it's so important to do your homework, because if you almost don't have the receptors of self-fulfillment and knowing what makes you happy, how's your partner ever going to fill that? You don't have those pathways, so how can your partner fill them if you don't even know what they are for you?
Is it important for them to know them?
Yes, we need to know what makes us feel alive.
The other partner.
Oh, yes. So when you work together, you know, it's like we all know the love languages, which is, it's good. It's at least a conversation. But for me, it's that, so if your love language is physical affection and mine is acts of service, I'm going to go try and do physical affection, but it's going to be inauthentic because it's not my natural thing. And you're going to be like, well, I can feel you don't really want to have that. Do you see? So we're setting each other up to fail.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. You made me laugh there because that's so real, eh? Wow. You're beautiful. You're doing amazing work. You're doing beautiful work. That's all I wanted to say. And that, like we said, you know, off camera, these are important conversations that touch on who we are and can become for the betterment of everybody else. So I hope through this conversation, more people get to try and to come and seek your guidance, schools, leaders, and indeed couples, because couples make families, families make society, and that kind of stuff. So let's go to books. The people that watch this show love books.
Yes.
So I brought 4 books. One of them, which this is for me a very important one. Jonathan Haidt, The Anxious Generation. This book is a must read for teachers, for parents, even for people in government. Australia is changing the laws through social media. The UK is doing the same thing. Schools in America are doing the same thing. Access to technology for kids is an important thing that we need to watch over. Children should not have phones when they are below 18. Social media, that kind of stuff. So it's all that kind of stuff. And my pet hate is people who are on their phones when they should be enjoying their families, who are on their phones when they should be driving and paying attention to traffic and all that kind of stuff. There's so much things that we do which we could change. It could change this country. This is an important book, The Anxious Generation. The other is, I've recommended this book before, The 4 Agreements, the wisdom book by Don Ruiz Miguel. This is a powerful book. Again, for me, Robyn, the most important thing is to work on myself so that I present out there in a manner that affects in a positive way how others are. Then this book by Atul Gawandam, Being Mortal, Illness, Medicine, and What Matters in the End. What matters in the end is who we are, why we were created. What is your purpose? I found this book fascinating. He writes this story, which is very closely linked to how he watched his father die over a long period of time, and the love and care and so forth. And this book, I recommended it a couple of weeks ago. I am back to reading this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because I truly believe that it's working on myself that is the most important thing, not working on my neighbor or my wife or anybody else for that matter, but myself, and then giving myself to the society in an authentic way. Like you, I am never a people pleaser, and that has made me very unpopular in certain places. But do I care? Absolutely not. What books would you recommend? 4 books at least, Robyn. Okay,
so there's a few. The first one for me would be Woman Who Run with the Wolves. It's a very important read for all women, I feel. It's about stories of womanhood and, just amazing. And then Gabor Mate's When the Body Says No.
Oh, you're right.
Definitely very important to understand the power of your body and to start listening to it. And then my next one would be Brittany Piper's Body First Healing. It's a kind of you can do yourself, you can read that, understand yourself, have way greater empathy and compassion for yourself. And then the last one, because Trevor, life is far too serious. We need to do joy. We need joy. As adults, we need to access joy. So it would be, for women, I would suggest Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses, or kind of the Throne of Glass series. It's a female protagonist. It's written in a way that women want. It's lighthearted. It's just wonderful to access something that brings you joy, because seriousness is also a condition of adulthood.
Absolutely.
So,
wow. I have a confession to make. I said to my wife this morning, I'm feeling anxious talking to Robyn, because I feel I'm out of depth. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. We wish you the best. I really wish this could spread and affect a lot of people, the work that you do. So thank you so much. All of the very best. Allow me now to turn to our viewers who are all over the world. Say thank you so much for your support. I keep on boasting about we're close to reaching 14 million views, inching towards 100,000 subscribers. We love the support. We view your comments below. Please tell us what you liked about this conversation, what you didn't like about the conversation. Let's have the conversations. Thank you so much. We've created a website, by the way, where this content sit. Go there and binge as much as you want to binge. Whilst you're cleaning your car, whilst you're working in the garden, working in the kitchen, listen to this quality conversation. Thank you so much. Remember to subscribe, to like and share. Until next time, cheers to you all.